welcome to episode 69 of Retro Recall, the PS1 Chronicles, a show where we play and rank every PlayStation game ever created. My name is Jimmy, and as always, I'm here with Mike.
Hello.
So we have a very interesting game this week.
Another fighting game. We have to put this into our rotation every couple months.
I don't want to spoil this episode early, but anybody watching this episode knows how this is going to go. So the way I'm talking here, I know, we all know. So it is a bummer. Go ahead.
I think I want to make the thumbnail too. So just seeing the thumbnail, you're like, okay, I get it. I know where this is going to go.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer that, we haven't played a fighting game in a while, and this is the one we're going to play, right?
What was the last one we did? Was it Soul Blade?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
All right, so going from Tekken to Soul Blade to this, when we were getting into this, I'm like, it's setting high standards from the past that we had to meet.
Honestly, we have our schedule made. I kind of want to go back and add a fighting game because, we need a redemption after this. We need something because fighting games can be good, as we know. It's just, we, for some reason, are playing this.
For some reason. Well, okay, we're getting way too much into the episode in the very beginning of this show, but
I know.
So you told me before we even started playing the game that this was based off of the movie, which I originally loved the idea of because we were calling it Street Fighter the movie, the game, which is hilarious to me. It's something I would come up with for an idea of one of the shows we've had.
Yeah.
So did you have any thoughts going into that of, okay, I know this is based off of a movie. What, did you have high expectations going into the game?
So I did kind of know about this game already.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know any intricate details, but what I did know is that it looked like it was trying to be Mortal Kombat.
Oh, okay.
I had heard that before, and I just knew that it was not good. But even going beyond that, in this era, how many games based on movies are good? For real,
Right, and you've repeated that before on the mini show we do on the weekends. So yeah. I don't think I've even played many on the PlayStation that were movie adaptations, to be honest.
I can think of two that you've played.
Well, as a kid.
Yeah. We both played those same ones as kids, but I was thinking of A Bug's Life and Die Hard, which you played Die Hard as a kid. I played A Bug's Life as a kid.
Okay, I retort my statement there.
But honestly, though, you think about. I feel like Disney games are almost separate because there was a lot of budget put into them. I'm not saying A Bug's Life is good, but at least they tried. They tried to do something with it. This to me doesn't get what makes the franchise good. So therefore, that's why it doesn't work.
Right.
I don't know. This could have easily been a slam dunk too. We'll get into it, but that's kind of where I sit with it.
Yeah, and my thinking too was, okay, it's based off of the movie. I can't see it being too bad. And then you inform me of how the characters look, and then that already started a domino effect on my brain of, okay, well, if they're doing this, then it might be this bad because of this, and oh boy, was I not wrong.
Oh man, there are so many things I want to talk about, so many things I want to say. So before we get into it, I picked this question because I had a hard time with this game. What makes a good fighting game for you, and how accessible should it be for newcomers? Because this game, which we will talk about later, is not accessible for newcomers, in my opinion.
It's not. And we've just beating a dead horse with this statement. I hate fighting games.
Yeah, we know.
But to me, I think back to Soul Blade of how I hate fighting games, but I absolutely love that game. And I think it just comes down to the smoothness of the fighting, giving you the accessibility to learn the characters. For Soul Blade, there is a training mode where it says hey, practice the character you want to practice. I get in the older fighting games, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, uh, Tekken, that it's expected that you just go in and you figure out the moves as you
Mhm.
go. Uh, but I think like as we progress, it's like better just to give players the option to learn and get better instead of having to grind over and over again trying to figure out anything about the game.
Yeah, I mean, this game has all the moves in the manual, so you have to look at the manual if you really wanna know how to play, which is crazy.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I couldn't even find the manual. So,
So I found the Sega Saturn manual, and obviously it's the same game. So, and what it does in there is it doesn't have the buttons; it has like punch or kick or whatever. So
mm,
you can easily, find that same parallel. But yeah, for me, I need to be able to ease myself into it, and I don't want to spoil too much. We've already spoiled way too much in this intro, but I just want to be able to learn at my own pace. Whether that's, having a move list, having a training mode, or even just being able to jump into any of the modes in a lower difficulty just to kind of get my feet wet and just like try to learn the way this fighting game is different from the others. Cause like I felt by the time we were done playing Soul Blade, I was starting to get pretty good at it.
yeah, I completely agree with that statement.
And with this game, I just feel like I never had anything to start with, you know?
Nope. No. And I think we're itching to get into this episode, so I think we need to just get
Yeah, we've
into
said too
it.
much. Time to get into the game. Street Fighter the movie was released on September 28th, 1995 for the PlayStation. We just talked, and I want to call it Street Fighter the movie the game because, like, the movie was not released on that day. The movie the game was, But all right, it was developed by Capcom and published by Acclaim in North America. A little weird bit of lore for you. The arcade version that came before this was made by a different company.
Okay.
Capcom took that, redid it to make it more like the actual Street Fighter games, and made this port.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I watched a few videos on this, so I'm not an expert, but that is why this is kind of a weird combination of different Street Fighter things. It also features things from the newer Street Fighter games that had just came out around this time. So they
Oh,
kind of did what they could to make it feel somewhat like a real Street Fighter game and not some weird like side thing, you know?
yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah, so this is based on the 1994 live action Street Fighter movie starring Jean Claude Van Damme, which we both watched in preparation
Yep.
for this. First time for the show. I'm very excited for that. I had been thinking about it, and as we played some of these other games, I had always thought about doing this. And I think from now on, I'm going to because it really does make a difference for me. Like, I should have watched A Bug's Life when we did that, or even just the first Die Hard movie. Like, I don't know. It just really makes me all in on this stupid shit, you know?
I fully agree. Like we didn't intend for it, and then one day you're like, you texted me, you said, "Oh, by the way, I have the movie now. I'm gonna watch it." I'm like, "Damn it! Now that means I need to watch this now."
I didn't have to. It also would be kind of funny for me to just tell you about the movie, but I don't know.
Oh no, I had to. After seeing it, I'm glad I watched it.
Obviously, this will be a case by case thing, but I would love for us to do that going forward. And like, if there's a movie involved and we both have the time to just watch it, like,
I agree.
might even be fun actually if maybe one time we both watched it like over Discord together. That could be fun too. But then we'd end up just talking about it and ruin this whole conversation. So
I know it's best to keep as much distance between us while doing these kinds of things.
it's so tough. Like when we played this game together right before this, I'm just like, man, I already said too much to you. Like we got to say
I
this.
know the amount of stuff. Like every time we play together with the game, I'm like, I want to vocalize the thoughts I have or like jokes I have or something. I'm like, nope, gotta keep that in.
I thought about maybe somehow we can incorporate that into an episode, but like obviously a discussion for off the show. But a way that we can still have that discussion, but it be usable in some way, you know?
Yeah. We've bounced this idea around a few times. We just need to figure out the logistics behind actually doing it.
Yeah, what does that actually mean? But yeah, so obviously this features digitized actors like Mortal Kombat. And another thing I learned right before this, they got around 8 hours with each actor from the movie to make this. So this is actually the actors from the movie.
Wait, so maximum 8 hours and they're done.
Well, what's interesting is I guess they said Jean-Claude Van Damme just like left after 4 hours. He was like, all right. And there's one character, I forget which one, that's briefly in the movie, but not in the game at all because the actor was like, nah, I'm leaving.
Wait, the actor for that, what was it, Sawada?
Whoever's not in the game that is in the movie, I forget which name it was.
Oh,
But-
Dalsim.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was so mad about that when he wasn't on the list. That makes so much more sense.
So the actor just was like, I'm out. Movie's done. I'm gone.
Fair.
Yeah. And I guess the struggle was like, these actors did not have any real fighting experience. So getting them to do these moves and capture it was probably like a fucking nightmare.
Oh, I could not imagine. And to go off of that, like I read that the actress for Chun-Li, when she finally saw the finished movie, she was so upset and just cringed and thought this was the death of her career.
That's funny. By the way, the videos that I'm talking about are by Matt McMuscles. He does a series called What Happened, and it talks about like what happened with something bad, like a bad movie, a bad game, like what went wrong.
Oh, okay.
He has an episode all about this game, which is where I'm getting a lot of this information. Just want to throw that out there so you could check it out if you want to.
Yeah. What was that? Well, I'll put a little graphic at the bottom. You can send me what his name is.
But yeah, so I think there's no better way to start this discussion than by talking about the movie a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wanted to open it up first. Of like, did you have a favorite character for Street Fighter as a kid?
Yeah, I guess that we didn't really talk about that because we always have the what is your history with Street Fighter question, but we didn't do it this time.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get out of that box because I felt like every episode for a while was, so what do you think about this? You know?
Well, but this question is important for the movie. So I wanted to get that across.
Well, that is why I'm going to start with, I had Street Fighter Alpha 2 as a kid. You know, I've said it on the show many times. I don't know why I had it. I must have got it somehow, but I played it a whole bunch. I don't know why I didn't retain any information from this game. So, like, most generic answer of all time, Ryu is probably my favorite character.
Right. And we've had the discussion prior to recording. We don't know because I've always called her Ryu as well, but the game says Ryu or the movie says Ryu.
I wouldn't trust anything this movie says to be canon. So
that's also true. Mine was always Dalsim, which is why I was angry that he wasn't in the game, and Blanca. So
he's in the game, but not probably in the way that you'd like.
Not the way. He's on the screen right now, and it just makes me laugh every time.
Oh, he's really something, isn't he?
Yeah, so I mean, okay, getting into the movie, I'm like, cool. I get to see these characters that I kind of grew up playing on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't do a good job of explaining who the characters are in the movie.
Not the characters. They don't explain anything in this movie. They just jump into some random plot that you're like just supposed to understand.
Yeah. It's like immediately you have Jean-Claude Van Damme who plays Guile. And what made me laugh immediately was whenever he's like yelling into the camera with the microphone, he's not like the microphone's over here and he's yelling into the camera. I'm like, you're a professional actor, sir. You should know how to do this.
My favorite thing about him is that he's supposed to be American.
That too. Yes.
Him and I forget the character's name, but Kylie Minogue, like they're supposed to be like American soldiers.
Oh, Cammy, yeah.
Yeah. And they just have clear accents. Like they just don't even care. He has an American flag tattoo and he's like supposed to be this like soldier and he just has like, he doesn't even try to do an American accent.
And the tattoo looks like one of those sticker or the ones you
Oh,
put on
yeah.
and put the wet cloth on it to put it
Uh-huh.
on the arm.
Absolutely. I'm sure that's what it was too.
It took me 20 minutes into the movie to realize like the two main people we're following around is Ryu and Ken.
I want to say I realized it at some point when they just said the name. Like, but for a while they don't say anything.
No, the only time you learn who a character is in this movie is when their name is said. With the exception of Bison, because he's dressed like Bison, and Vega, because Vega has a very distinct look to him,
Mhm.
and they follow that. Everyone else is like, I thought these were two random guys we're following, and then they're like, Ryu. I'm like, wait, holy hell, this is Ryu we're following this whole time?
I mean, I'm not wrong in saying that Ryu and Ken are the main characters of Street Fighter, right? Not the movie, but the games.
Yeah, they are. Like, those are the two most iconic characters of the Street Fighter series.
Like, to me, those two and Chun-Li are Street Fighter. Like, those are the three I think of immediately.
I could see that.
Is that not true for you?
I mean, because I like Blanca so much, I mean, Blanca's the character for me.
Fair.
But did you watch the original Mortal Kombat movie?
No, I've actually never seen it. I have seen the newer one, but I haven't seen the original.
So, fun fact, Jean-Claude Van Damme was supposed to be Johnny Cage in the Mortal Kombat movie, but he turned it down to do this one. And I'm like, what a poor decision. Like, to me, I think the Mortal Kombat movie, very cheesy still, but so much better than the Street Fighter movie of actual combat, actual fighting.
Yeah.
And they have a reason for the characters. And like the CGI is kind of corny, but also kind of hilarious. But the reason I bring that up is because it's almost like they came out around the same time. Like Mortal Kombat came out a little bit after, but
Yeah.
the way this intro is, like after we get past the very beginning part and you see Ryu and Ken walking around in the dark, like fight club area.
Yeah.
That's so reminiscent of Mortal Kombat. Like side by side, it's almost like the same scenes are happening. And it's so weird that they both do that.
Well, they're also all pulling from the same stuff. I mean, the guy that
True.
directed this, I'm pretty sure directed Die Hard.
Oh, I didn't know that.
All right, sorry, I fact checked that. He did not direct them, he wrote them and directed this. But still, like,
okay.
still very interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, for how cheesy the beginning is and whatnot, I do like how they incorporate some of like the airplane comedy into it.
Yeah.
Like specifically like when Ryu and Ken are talking to Sagat and they're like, oh, isn't it out or past your curfew? And he's like, there is no curfew here. And then the helicopter flies by and says, the 7:00 curfew is now taking place. And like they just kind of look at the helicopter and go back to their conversation. Like subtle jokes, but they actually kind of land and it actually made me laugh whenever it happened.
There was one part that actually made me laugh. And what is the guy's name? Zangief? When they're watching all that bad stuff happening on the camera and he's like, change the channel.
Yeah.
That one got me. I'm like, it's just stupid enough that it's pretty funny.
Yeah. There's a lot of funny moments in this movie. But then you get to, well, so I figured, okay, Jean-Claude Van Damme's in this. He would seem like the main character. You've already said Ken and Ryu are, in your eyes, the main character, but they pose Guile to be the main character in this movie. But he's not there for most of the movie.
I was just about to say that, like, so I played the game first, then I watched the movie. And playing the game first, you think, oh, Guile's going to be all over this thing. And it's very much an even spread of all the characters from the game.
Yeah. It's kind of like they have their groups of people that are kind of doing their own stories that kind of intertwine at the end.
Yeah.
But the reason behind why Guile isn't just there for a lot of the movie is because Jean-Claude Van Damme was doing $10,000 worth of coke a week. Like not even in a month, a week. And there was just days he refused to show up, so they just had to make a movie around him not being around.
That is absolutely insane. Like, what?
But I mean, and also, like they were running low on like the time for filming, so the director would literally tear out pages of the script, not even caring which page it was. He's like, okay, tear out some pages. Now we're good to go. We're back on schedule. Then when it came down to the editing floor, they're like, oh, none of this makes sense. So they had to go back and do reshoots to fill the gaps of making things make sense.
Yeah, I did read that the movie was rushed to come out like within the year that it was confirmed. The guy wrote
Yep.
the script in like a day.
Oh God. And you can see it on the screen. Like none of this makes sense. And there's parts that seem jumbled, and it's just because it is.
Well, also, I mean, you're saying pages were ripped out. It was like, rushed. Imagine, even if he did write it in one night, I'm sure it wasn't as bad as what it ended up being. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. All the other constraints of everything else just added to the already bad parts of it.
Well, like, I went into the movie not thinking it was going to be good, right? Like, I'm not like, oh, this is going to be fucking a masterpiece. But I did expect it to at least be cheesy and fun. And it is some of that, but it's just so poorly made that you can't even really follow a lot of it.
Nope. And I feel like it's almost worse for you because you played the game first and watched the movie, and I did the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
If I would have played this game first, I would have been hyped going into the movie. Like, oh, if this is following like the story of it, like this is so cool. Like talking to people and fighting, talking to people fighting. There's almost no fighting in this entire movie up until like the last 30 minutes, probably.
So that was the last point I wanted to bring up before we like stopped this movie discussion was for a movie called Street Fighter, there is so little fighting in it that it is like just concerning. Like, why?
And honestly, like the last half hour too is like that's when all the characters get into their costumes that are Street Fighter.
Yeah.
The majority of this movie, you're like, I don't know who this is. And then finally they get into their costume. You're like, oh, that's who that was this whole time? Like E Honda was the guy following around Chun-Li this whole time? I didn't know that.
I had no idea, dude. I'm just, I don't know. I was along for the ride. I thought it was going to be a lot more fun than it was, but what rating would you give the movie out of 10? Just real quick,
Oh, geez.
not serious, just a loose rating.
I wasn't even ready for this. Just because of the corniness of it, and I can see why there's like a cult following behind it, is just like a 6.
Yeah, I was going to go with a 5, like, right down the middle. It's not like the worst thing I've ever seen. And I think that if they just spent a little more time to make it a little more coherent, I think it would have been maybe even like a 7 at best, but still like
Yeah.
not bad, It's a fun, weird blockbuster based on a video game, but
And if you want a good fighting game movie, watch Mortal Kombat, the original.
all right, I'll take your word for that and I will watch it.
You should. You definitely should.
You should watch the newer one. You would actually like that as well.
I've been wanting to. It's on my list because whenever I saw they were making a new one, I was so hyped for it, and I just haven't had a chance to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, the sequel's coming out, I think, in the next few years, so you got time.
Oh, sweet. Okay, I'll have to check that out.
But yeah, so are we ready to talk about a video game now?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, people are going to be like, oh, why did you talk about a movie for so long? But the fact is, like, it is just a fighting game. So, I mean, I do feel like the movie is a big part of this game. So it is good to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time we do spend like a good chunk of an episode talking about the characters, the art style, stuff like that. And like, we essentially just did that with the movie discussion,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I figured the best way to start here would be, something that's impossible to ignore. These horrible, horrible graphics.
It's bad. It's so bad. And whenever I started playing, the first thing that caught my eye was in every single character, you can just see a blue glow on their clothing, their face, their skin, just because they were standing on a blue screen. And it's something that happens a lot with FMV games back in this time. You just see a blue glow around everything.
I honestly think this is one of the worst examples I've ever seen of this. Like, we've played we played Harvester. We played, what was that other one?
I was trying to think
Phantasmagoria.
Yeah.
And those are kind of doing the same thing this is doing. And those are PC adventure games. And those look better than this.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of this look, but like, it can be a little fun and cheesy, and like Mortal Kombat is fine to me. Like, there's just enough detail there that I feel like it works. But with this one, it just looks bad, you know?
And honestly, when you brought up Mortal Kombat, I didn't even realize that's what they did as well. Like in my child brain, I don't think I've ever clocked the fact that that was like this style. Is it the very first one you're talking about, or
I think the first like 3 until they switched to 3D.
okay?
So like, I did a little more research because I wanted to know like, why is this so bad? Why does Mortal Kombat look good, right? So
Mhm.
Mortal Kombat used actual people trained in martial arts.
Oh,
Like, it's not just like fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme on coke trying to do weird fighting moves.
yes.
So like, that's why a lot of this looks awkward. And it's like, you can tell that some of the things they're doing, it does look right. But then the rest of it, it looks like, they're just manipulating an image that they have already and not using like an animation, you know?
Yeah, or it's kind of like, hey, throw this punch, but in this way, but do it slowly, and then we'll kind of like make it stutter to that position that we need you to be in. It's kind of like you said, they weren't fighters, so it's how do we get you to do the pose we need you to do in the easiest steps so that we can make it work on our end.
I mean, dude, like imagine getting a random actor never thrown a punch before in their life.
Yeah,
You have 8 hours to get them do every move in Street Fighter 2. That sounds insane.
it blows my mind they had a time limit with each person too.
Well, while some of these people were famous, they all weren't. But I mean, they pretty much got one working day with each person, I would imagine. So
That's true.
I don't know. Well, regardless, I don't think this game looks good. I think there is really no alternative here other than like maybe you could redraw the sprites from Street Fighter to make them look like the actors. I mean, that's a really cool idea and would be sick, but at this time I feel like that would have been way more expensive probably to get an artist to do that.
And paying Jean-Claude Van Damme, can't imagine he was cheap to get. So to get him into the game, I feel like that's a lot of money right there.
Well, I guess regardless you would have had to pay him anyway to use like his likeness. So
Very true. Very true. But it's a weird thing because it's like if you play the original Street Fighters up to this point, like you're used to a specific style and like how the characters look. Then you get into this, and it's like, why would you want to buy this game? Like, oh, I get to play as Jean-Claude Van Damme. Who wants that? Like, why would you ever want to play as the actor?
I mean, I kind of think it's sick, honestly. Like, if this looked good, it would be fun. I mean, I don't know. It's the same thing as like a wrestling game, right? I mean, you want to play as The Rock. Looks kind of like The Rock.
Yeah, but yeah, okay, fair point.
I mean, it's based directly on a movie starring a real person, right?
Yeah.
So,
I
like,
get
if you
that.
had Guile from the game, he doesn't look like Jean-Claude Van Damme at all.
No, and that's where I get it. Where like I like your idea of just redesigning the sprites that you already have to be the person, or a close resemblance at least. But I get it. I'm just not a fan.
Maybe not more expensive. Maybe I was wrong there, but at least way more work.
Oh, 100% more work. Yes.
But I think it would have paid off. And even if the game mechanics were bad, I think you would have at least had that going for you. Like, oh, dude, Jean-Claude Van Damme drawn as Guile. That's so sick. You know what I mean? Like, at least you'd have kids saying that shit and not, this game is trash. It looks like shit. You know?
Yep. Yep. I mean, going off of mechanics, like you were talking about, like, what was your thoughts on how the fighting felt and learning moves?
It's actually really funny that just happened in my footage because that was me realizing I have to go look up a move list somewhere for this game because it is not in the game. There is no
Right.
way inside of the game for you to find any sort of move list.
Nope.
And we already talked about this, but in the manual, which obviously I could not find the PS1 version, it has all the combos. But I just don't care. Like, I just like button mashed my way through it because like I saw the combos and I'm like, well, I tried to learn a few and I was just like, what am I doing wrong here? Why do they not work? Why do they work sometimes? What am I doing wrong? Does it have something to do with this super bar? And then that's like something different. So I have no idea what I was doing and I still don't.
Nope. And it's a huge thing of so in the you have a movie mode that you play and you play Guile the entire time. I spent so much time trying to figure out how to do the stupid sonic boom. Could not figure it out. I'm like, maybe they just don't have it in this game. Like because I'm trying combinations that should work in a fighting game. And it's not there. But then you get to like fight against them if you do another mode. And he's doing them nonstop and spamming it. I'm like, okay, this is possible, but I don't know what the button combination is.
I don't understand what is wrong with the AI in this game because they are just constantly spamming the special moves on you. And I mean constantly.
So in the movie mode, the second person, if you choose the right path, you go to Chun-Li. The amount of those fucking fireballs she's thrown at me, like nonstop, like I don't even have a chance to even move. So any character who has a throwable move, it's just getting spammed the entire fight, more or less.
Yeah, and they just like, well, even if it's not like a move like that, they'll just pick a random attack and just keep getting you with it over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. So we're talking about the movie mode. You basically play, you see like a little scene, like whether it's directly from the movie or not, just screenshots. You don't get like video clips really, but then you choose where to go. Does it matter what choice you pick? Does it all just go to the same thing?
I never made it far enough to tell you. So the first time I went into the town and I fought Balrog.
Yeah.
Went to Chun-Li. She kicked my ass over and over again. Okay, I'm going to start over. I'm going to go the opposite way. And with that was Ken. And then after Ken was Ryu, and Ryu just kicked my ass again over and over again. I'm like, I can't progress anymore. Like, this is so difficult, especially when you don't know combinations.
Yeah.
I stopped and went to a different mode.
Well, what you're watching right now is how far I made it. This is the last character I got to fight, which I'm assuming is close to the end because I'm at Bison's compound.
Oh, true. Yeah. So it might be like after this, you maybe have one or two more, and then you get to Bison.
Yeah. But I just did this fight over and over again until I finally had enough. Like, what is weird to me, and just really quick, there is a mode called Street Battle Mode, which is this game's arcade mode.
Yes. Yeah.
If you go into the options, the main options, you can set the difficulty, right? Easy all the way down, hard all the way up. I set it to easy all the way down. I demolished arcade mode, barely even paying attention. I was on the phone literally for half of it while I was playing, and it was fine. Like, I was just kicking ass, having a good time. You know, it was really easy, but, you know, I could gradually move up, like I was saying.
The characters almost throw zero punches.
But in movie mode, the difficulty mode doesn't matter.
Nope. I thought something was wrong. Like, am I just that bad at this game where, like, I have it on the easiest setting and these people are destroying me?
Well, we've played games like that before where you would set the difficulty, play something, and then when you came back, it would be like reset or something. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
That's what I thought might have happened. Maybe it's like just not saving that, or maybe I like hit the back button instead of confirm. Like, I'm like going through my mind, like, what can I do to fix this? But there is no way to fix it. The movie mode operates on its own difficulty and it doesn't matter. It's just really hard.
Funny you say that because I did the exact same thing. I set the difficulty, and then before I started the game mode, I went back to options and back to difficulty to make sure it was set before playing because I'm like, something feels off here and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I mostly was just able to spam the heavy attacks to get my way all the way to what's this guy? How do you say this guy's name again?
Sagat.
And I couldn't do that anymore when I got there. I had to do more. So I looked up combos, tried to learn them on the fly as I'm playing this, and just like, no chance. There's no way it was going to happen. So,
Well,
also, just really quick, you cannot quit out of this. You have to
Oh
reset
no,
the game.
that is every single game mode. Like even if you go into 2-player mode versus, I think was versus battle. I went into that thing and what's this? It could be 2-player, but I want to see. So it is 2-player, but there's no way to go back to the main option after that. I had to reset the game again to get back to the main menu.
I did literally the exact same thing because I was like, "What's going on here?" And then you have to reset it.
Yep. Terrible layout design if that's the case every single
Mhm.
time.
Well, we kind of brushed over like how the combat actually feels, other than just saying it feels bad. So the way Street Fighter kind of works, and is I'm reading this just so you know, I don't understand this. I'm just reading it from what it says. So in the manual, this is what it says: you have light, medium, and heavy attacks for each uh, punch or kick. So light is described as lets you repeatedly attack. Medium, in between light and heavy attacks. Strong, lots of destructive power, but leaves you open to attacks.
Okay.
I don't know, dude. I was gonna try and like describe it on my own, and I'm like, let me just see what the manual says, and that is word for word what the manual says. So,
I guess I get it, but
I mean, it's all about like
such
planning what you want to do, right? Do you want to
yeah.
spam this? Do you want to use the heavy ones but leave yourself open? And then obviously you have your special moves. And I mean, yeah, this is a very technical game. Like, I was talking to a friend, Dylan, who was on the Buster Group episode, and he's a fighting game guy. So I'm like, what's up with this? Like, have you played this before? He's never played this. I was actually going to ask him to be on this episode, but he was sick this week, so couldn't really. But he said that Street Fighter is way more technical. Like, you have to really get into it. You can't just button mash. He said specifically, he was like, I know you guys have played Tekken and Soul Blade. Those are very much like button mash friendly, is what he said.
Oh, okay.
Whereas this is not. This is more intense, more competitive,
I mean, I felt that while playing it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, don't really have a lot of history with Street Fighter, but I remember having fun as a kid and like getting pretty good at it. I doubt I was actually good at it though, because I was like 6 years old, but I couldn't get a grasp on this game. I couldn't really get anything going, feel confident in really any way.
Yeah, same. And even when we played together, this goes back to the whole mechanics of it. Like you were playing as Ryu, and you kept doing a Hadouken, but it wasn't it would work every 15 attempts of you trying to do it.
As we were doing that, I'm like, am I crazy? Does like one of these bars on the screen have to do with something here? Like, or am I supposed to be able to do this and it's just not working? Because whenever you're fighting against these guys, they can just do it repeatedly. So why can't I?
Yep.
I know that it's down right or down left, then I think square. Like, I know that's what it does. I've gotten it to work. So why is it not working now? Why can't I just spam it and ruin your fucking time? Like,
I was fully expecting to go into us playing it and just me not being able to do anything because I knew you were going to spam that over and over again.
I actually remembered that from when I was a kid. It's a very easy button combo to remember.
Yeah.
So as soon as I went into a different mode besides the movie mode, I was like, time to spam Hadoukens. Let's go.
And another big component too about movie mode we didn't really discuss is that there's no continues, there's no game overs.
Oh yeah.
But you are fighting a clock the entire time. So per match, it's an infinite time, but you have overall time for the entire run that you're doing.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of like that. I think that's a cool concept.
I do too. It's interesting and it makes you like, oh, I can spend forever in this fight, but now I just lost 3 minutes of my overall time. I'm curious to what happens when you get to 0. I don't think, did you have that happen?
No, but I looked it up and Bison just kills all the hostages.
Oh, okay. So you're just fighting time to save the hostages pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as the movie, because in the beginning of the movie, they're like, he's giving you, 72 hours, I think?
Yes. Such a long amount of time to put up on the clock.
Yeah, he's like 72 hours, and then I'm going to kill these hostages unless you pull out the army and give me an obscene amount of money. I think it was like $30 billion or something.
So much, especially for that time period. I'm like, oh my god.
Reminded me of that scene from Austin Powers. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I want $30 bazillion. Yeah, like I was saying before, I did beat Street Battle mode once as Ryu. And like, yeah, it was fine. You know, it was really easy on the easiest difficulty. But
Did you get anything?
that's the thing. I don't even remember because I just didn't even care. I was just like, all right, well, I did that.
I got like halfway through street mode. I'm just like, I don't care enough to keep going. Like, this is boring. And I kind of wanted to keep going just to see what you got at the end, but I'm just like, I'm gonna move on and see what the other game modes are.
Yeah, I was going to skip to the end of this footage to show you what happens, but then I accidentally closed our video window. So I won't do that again.
But aside from that, the only other mode we have is trial mode.
Yeah, so in the manual, it says that it's a fight against every other character, but it's just a fight against one character, right? Or do you just go until you lose?
You go until you lose, yeah. And then at the end, you get like a ranking of like, how aggressive were you? How far did you make it? Here's your overall ranking of this character. It almost feels like a mastery of the character of like keeping track of how good you are with that one person.
Yeah.
But I think I lost on the first fight, so my ranking was 0. So
did I. Again, I don't think that follows the difficulty mode, right?
I don't think it does because I was having such a difficult time to get through it.
Me too. And I'm like, so what is the point of having this difficulty slider if I can't even use it for any other mode other than one, you know?
Yeah, it makes 0 sense. And I know we keep talking about this, but even in movie mode, the very first fight is one of those scripted you're supposed to lose fights.
Yeah.
And so when I'm first starting, I'm like, I put it on 0, like the easiest difficulty, but yet Bison is destroying me. Like, I cannot get a hit in on this guy. So what is happening? Then I lose and go into the actual story mode. So every time I restarted movie mode, I just stood there and I walked towards him, like, punch me, kick me, get me down. Like, it's just a waste of time at that point.
Yeah.
I'm like, we need to get this going so I can get into the actual game.
I am a fan of the you're supposed to lose fights sometimes. But in a game like this, it just doesn't really make sense to me.
It really doesn't.
Like, obviously, I like Dark Souls and they do that all the time. But
Yes.
I don't know. It just felt weird. It makes me think like, oh, I need to restart, like you're saying, you know?
But counterpoint to that is in Dark Souls, you can actually beat that first person that you're supposed to be scripted to die against.
Yeah.
Like, it is possible once you know what you're doing. In this, I feel like it's programmed to be impossible to beat them on the first go.
You know what? After this, I am going to look up if you can beat him on the first try. Because I would be interested. There has to be. I mean, if you're good enough at the game, I would imagine you can do it.
I don't know. I know every single time I even threw any punch or kick, it was blocked. Like, there was nothing to get through. And if I even landed one hit on him, that was a success to me because everything was just failing.
Oh, I mean, I agree with you. It's just like there has to be something, but maybe the game just like doesn't account for you being able to beat him and there's nothing to, you know?
That too, because like what happens if you do beat him on that one? Like, oh, okay, cool. Movie mode over. You beat Bison.
Yeah, you did it. It's over. You killed him. But all right. I'm kind of over this. I'm like over talking about this game, dude. I'm just I don't know. I feel like the only thing we really didn't talk about was the music, which is so like not notable that I don't even really have anything to say. It's just kind of there.
I don't even remember the original Street Fighter music to know how comparable it is, but for me, it's just like you happen to mention while we were playing that the songs fade out before they start over again. I never even noticed that. Like, I just completely zoned out while playing this game that wasn't even noticed.
Well, as you've learned, that really bugs me when it does that because that's just lazy, you know?
Yes. No, I completely agree. But I think I was just too frustrated with the game itself that
Hmm.
to actually listen to what's going on, I was like, I don't even care.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And like fighting games do have good music. Like Tekken is great. Soul Blade, great music. Like this, nope. All right, you ready to hop into some reviews?
Yeah, let's just get it over with.
So, as I kind of leaned into in the intro, reviews for this game were mixed to bad. You know, people looking back on this now know that it's bad. So, I tried to find one good review and one bad review. I have one of the higher ones, and wasn't even
Okay.
really that many reviews of this to begin with that I could find.
Oh, okay.
German magazine Megafun gave the game a 70 out of 100, and they said, I can't shake the feeling that because of the licensing, there was once again no money left for proper development. I can't think of any other explanation for why the graphics turned out so sloppy. The large sprites suffer from a severe lack of color, and the poorly designed animations give this venerable. I Google translated this, so I don't know what that means. Give this venerable title an unpleasantly cheap feel. I don't know what that word means.
I don't either, but I mean, I agree.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we talked about that already. The sprites are sloppy, if you want to say that. They're just bad, you know?
It goes back to my statement of Jean Claude Van Damme. Like maybe if they just didn't have to pay him, then there would be more money put into production. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I also feel like they could have just hired lookalikes and it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. Like, for real.
With how pixelated this is, and I mean, who is really playing this game and then going to watch the movie or watching the movie and going to play this game? It's such a small number of people, I would assume. So if you had lookalikes, no one would know. You would never tell.
I mean, just look at what we're looking at right now. Like, I guess if I just having seen the movie can tell who it's supposed to be, but also remember, you really couldn't watch this at home right away when you're playing this game. So you wouldn't even know anyway. You know what I mean?
Also, a fair point. I didn't even think about that.
It's not like you could be like, compare them back and forth. That doesn't really look like that guy. Like that would be so hard to do back then.
Fair point. Wow, that didn't even cross my mind.
GamePro gave the game a 2 out of 5, and they said, Acclaim's only chance of getting the books in the black on this one is to beat word of mouth and sell enough units before gamers know just how feeble this product is. Smart fighters will turn and run away and live to play an actual Street Fighter game another day.
Yeah. You just got to hope enough copies sell before they realize that it's a bad product.
It's the same thing that movies do where like they won't screen it early for the critics and just put it out. That's how you know it's going to be bad.
Same with games, even to this point. Like nowadays, current times, even if a game is about to come out and they're refusing to give out test copies, uh, or if you do get one, you have to sign something saying you're not allowed to talk about it. Dude, that's always a death sentence. Like people are like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be crappy."
Yeah, I mean, if I can't read a review of something before it's out, I know that it's going to be bad.
Exactly.
I mean, there are a few exceptions, I'm sure. But for me, I just automatically, in my mind, I'm like, all right, well, it's over. Sucks. But that brings us to our scores. And
oh boy.
man, I have a general idea of where I want to go to. I mean, it's funny. This episode is strange because, like, I feel like we talked about the movie more than the game.
Honestly, I wanted to keep talking about the movie. There's so many things I want to talk about, and
I know. I was just like, hold on. We got to talk about the game. This is a video game podcast.
I know.
All right. I can go first, I guess.
Okay,
Unless you
yeah,
want to go.
ahead. I was going to say, like, clearly this is going to be bottom of the list.
Yes. So my thing here was how low is it going to go? And
Exactly.
like I always tell you, I do the thing where what would I rather play? I think about this game and it's not the worst game I've ever played. It's not terrible.
Mm.
It's just like clearly a rushed cash grab. And sometimes they get lucky and those end up being good, but this time they did not. So
Exactly.
I am going to go with uh, a 4.
Oh, wow. So much lower than I thought you were going to go. Not so much, but it is lower than I thought you were going to go.
I don't know. I mean, it's a bad game. I didn't want
It
to keep
is.
playing it. I had, at least with Tekken, I gave Tekken lower than Soul Blade. That game was at least fun for what it was. This isn't even fun at all, really. There's just nothing for me to care about. You know what? Actually, with the movie mode, I almost feel like I have to bump it up a 0.5 for that because that is a very interesting thing. So maybe I'll go with a 4.5.
Okay.
Just because, like, we always talk about how we want some kind of story in the game. Even though this is not that good, at least it's in the game. It's something that they tried. So
I will say the one thing that annoyed me about the movie thing was that when you get to Balrog, he's like, the description says Balrog is filming Chun-Li doing an interview. When you beat him, he's like, oh, you got to find Chun-Li. She's over in front of the. It's like, but you just said she was standing right there. Why is. I get you're trying to move the story forward, but it makes no sense. Like, change the description prior to that, all of that happening.
oh, I mean, the whole movie mode is fucking stupid. Like, every time I read anything that's there, I'm like, what are you talking about? But I like that it is a thing that's there.
Yeah, and I do like how they give you choices. Do you want to go here or do you want to go here? Like, it's not just straight, you're doing this, now you're doing this. Like, you can make the game different for yourself if you play it over and over again. You can choose different paths. I hate that they didn't have Dalsim in this. He was barely a thing in the movie until I realized who he was in the movie. And even then, he wasn't that important. But you told me that he just didn't want to do the game. He just bailed and said, see ya, guys.
I think so. I mean, I read that one of the actors was like that. So if he's clearly, you know more about him than me. So he had to be the one.
Yeah, he had to be the one. I too was going with 4.5. Like, I could see this potentially being better just if more work was put in, but it wasn't. And that's why we are down at the bottom of the list.
You were like, wow, that's low. And it was only 0.5 lower than what you were going to give it.
For you, I
Yeah,
thought
I
you
know.
were going to be higher.
Oh, no.
I was expecting for you to be about the 5.5, if not like, I could see you arguing for a 5.5. So when you said 4, I'm like, oh, geez, okay, you are on my level on this.
All right. No, I just like, obviously neither of us are, you straight up hate fighting games. I don't hate them. I just like, I need those extra modes or just something to let me keep playing it because I'm not good at it and I'm not going to put in the time to get good at it. This game has less than an hour of content and then you have to just get good at it and that's it.
I think I just hate it because of the fact that I'm just not good at it. And it just feels like no matter how much time I would put into it, I'm not going to be good at it. So I just avoid them.
That's fair. And like, that's why we love Soul Blade is because there's all these other things you can do. And, you can button mash your way through it if you really want to. But if you want to take the time and learn, you can have that more satisfying experience.
But not even button mash. Like, I feel like I wasn't button mashing that much in that game. And I was having fun because it was an easier experience to have fun with.
I just mean like, I will almost never learn the combos just because I'm like lazy. If I was playing a more modern game or something that I actually was planning on playing long term, yes, I would try to really dive into it.
All right.
But kind of for what we're doing here, I know that even if I spent the time to learn the combos, it's not like it would change my experience. It wouldn't change my score. It would just take more time for me to come to the same conclusion,
That's also true. So we're going to have a tie with Invasion from Beyond, Tomb Raider, and Pinobi. Oh, and Soul of Samurai.
We just did this one, huh?
Yeah, just last week.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a set place for this?
The bottom?
I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to think of any way to justify anything else, but
That's why I was like, I was silent for a while because I'm trying to think of an argument for any of them, and I don't have it. So,
yeah.
all right. Well, for episode 69, Street Fighter the movie is at 69.
That's kind of crazy. I can't believe that actually happened.
It's at the very bottom of the 4.5s, so that's expected.
Weird episode. I almost feel like we should have just did the whole episode on the movie instead. That would have at least been more fun for us because it felt like a chore when it was time to talk about the game.
Can I say the one part I just need to get to that. I love how in the movie when M. Bison's like right before the giant, like the last Guile fight, he's in his floating pod thing, and the controls for the floating pod is a fighting game console thing that he has to push buttons for.
Oh, I saw that.
I loved that little detail.
He's just like slamming the buttons.
And all it is controlling mines coming up as the boat, the super high-tech stealth boat that gets destroyed in like 5 seconds.
It's so full of just those stupid ideas, and like I almost love it. I really do. Like I almost like the movie, but doesn't pass the threshold for me where I'm like, this is just fun enough for me to enjoy it. It's just like I kind of didn't really want to pay attention to half the movie because it was just whatever.
Yeah, it has its fun moments, but not enough to sustain the entire movie. And like the plots are just like, hey, we have to do this because we need to get the characters over here. It doesn't feel genuine. It just feels like, okay, we need to get this rushed and going.
Yeah, and I just feel like if it had way more fighting in it, you could at least have that novelty with it, you know?
Yes. Which again, when you watch Mortal Kombat the movie, I want to get your opinion on that. Maybe we could talk about it like as a pre-thing on the show or as supplemental. But because what you're describing is Mortal Kombat. Like you have a character going to here, and then there's a fight. And then they go here and they get into a fight. Then this happens and they fall into like another thing, and oh, there's a fight. And like it's just always fighting and always like for the entire movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like a giant fan of like martial art movies or anything like that. I like John Wick. I like those kind of like action heavy movies where, you know, you're captivated by the choreography of it, you know? So if this could have had that, I think it would have made it worth watching. But I will watch Mortal Kombat whenever we cover Mortal Kombat on this show. I think that makes the most sense because there are Mortal Kombat games on the PS1.
That's fair. But I mean, if the movie just had, by the way, if you ever do want to watch this movie, go for it, I guess. It won't be a huge waste of your time. There's no Hadoukens in the movie.
Yeah.
There's no specials whatsoever. Like, I get special effects were limited at the time, but you gave us nothing for the entire movie.
I just think the movie didn't know if it wanted to be silly or serious. That's kind of like what the problem is. I mean, by trying to be serious in moments, it becomes silly. But if they just kind of like went all in on it, I mean, this is the same argument we have for literally anything ever. They should have just went all in on what they had, and then it would have became either so stupid it's like fun or an actual good movie. But either way, it's not anything. But I do agree with you. I think it's worth watching if you know what you're going in for, you know? Especially if you like Street Fighter, it's worth watching.
The most you see a lot too is like E Honda does his slappy thing with his arm in the movie. But when he does it, it's like 50 million cuts of him like moving his hand around to like hit the guy because they couldn't replicate it on camera.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm assuming most of these people just couldn't do any of these moves, so.
Oh, it's so funny. I love it.
I could sit here and talk about this movie all day, but.
I know. And I feel bad like our conclusion is still about the movie. We're not even talking about the game.
I mean, literally, I was about to end the episode and you cut me off. So like,
yeah, sorry.
We're still trying, you still want to keep talking about the movie. Like, you're like, we got to keep going.
Exactly. But yeah, let's end it. Let's get out of here.
All right. That is going to do it for us. Thank you so much for watching or listening. If you enjoyed this, please remember to like and subscribe as well as give us a rating on podcast services. We'll see you next week.